Hey everybody, it's David here. Welcome to the Food Mentor podcast, and I'm delighted today to be chatting to Tim and Liam from Bay Juice, one of my favourite stories. So welcome onto the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us. Excited
Awesome to be here.
Let's, for the 280th time, give for the potential new listeners a rundown on the story of how it all began and your amazing trip to Korea.
Would love to. I'm getting pretty good at it now. I like to think so. But essentially, me and Sumin, my girlfriend at the time, so it was around 2018, we were traveling to South Korea to meet her family. We'd been together for about a year by then, so it was sort of time to go meet the other side of the crew. So flew to South Korea, went to Seoul. It was a big Thanksgiving event, so we went deep into the countryside and stayed at a grandparents' house, and it was this big jolly party. Like, it was wild. It was just all family drinking at 11 a.m. Soju, kimchi, pretty authentic Korean party. So I had an awesome time there. Went back to Seoul the next day and then hung out with her friends, family, school friends, work colleagues. So it was just like a week-long drinking bender essentially, which was awesome. I can't complain. It was good fun. Trying all different alcohol and eating great food, and it's a beautiful city. But it wasn't until a couple of nights in where we'd had some huge nights, pulling up pretty bad from soju. It's just headache central. When we stopped at a convenience store, and a lot of Sumin and her girlfriends were actually grabbing a Korean pear from the fridge. It was in like a little bottle, full of sugar, had a bit of pulp in it, but part of it was Korean pear. Me being the Aussie, grabbed the beer, they're drinking the pears, sitting out front, hanging out, and sort of inquired, like, why are you all drinking this pear juice? Is it just like yum? And that's when they gave it the full sort of duh moment, like, no, Korean pear naturally helps your hangover. And none of them knew why. It was just sort of been passed down. Grandma said it. Mum told me to do it. My dad does it all the time. It was one of those sort of things. So I thought it was pretty cool. I had a couple myself, woke up pretty fresh, and then didn't really think about why I did wake up fresh. Just a bit more clarity and the edge taken off, and started talking at breakfast going, that Korean pear juice must have helped. And then Sumin's mum's fired up going, yeah, didn't you know? And Sumin's translating us, and we're all trying to figure out and learn about the pear. So it wasn't until that night out again, I sort of decided to research it. And at the time there was a live article from the CSIRO explaining they'd done a lot of placebo testing, and that the Korean pear actually did help significantly reduce the hangover severity, was their fancier words.
Perfect.
Which I thought was amazing. And we've used the term a lot as this liquid gold. Like, it's natural, it's cheap, it's tasty, delicious, and it helps your hangover. So I was pretty mind blown. Drank it throughout the rest of the trip, and then sort of came back to Melbourne. Spoke to Liam about it. We've been trying to come up with a few different ideas over time, whether it was techie ideas, whether it was food ideas, and we thought this was an absolute cracker and gave it and tried it to a lot of people, and everyone pulled out well, and we decided to sort of pull the trigger on it 6-7 months later, essentially.
Yeah, amazing. That's pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah. And we flew straight back over, no meetings.
Awesome.
Didn't know what to do, and we went and found a manufacturer and visited the facility and told them what we wanted to do, and it was on.
Yeah, amazing, mate. So you developed the brand, developed the packaging, you did all that work, and then as all new entrepreneurs start, you started the whole door knocking.
Yeah, absolutely.
The retailers and the distributors, Liam.
Well, we get a 20-foot container. Get a 20-foot container. It arrives on about a 45-degree day. We're loading out the back into a storage unit that we just winged it, looked at the size and thought, yeah, we'll get a 20-foot container in there. We finished putting the stock in there, closed the the garage door kind of style vibe, and there was about this much space between the last box and that, and so
$300 a month it was as well.
$300 a month, bargain, pretty good. Yeah, to this day the cheapest logistics costs and storage costs we've had. But then we didn't have a car at the time. Loaded up my mum's Toyota Corolla, blocked all the windows and the mirrors in there, quite dangerous, and drove around Melbourne for 2 weeks. We just wanted to look really busy early days. So Timmy was in the passenger seat, probably had, I couldn't probably see him. He had pages coming up everywhere, but it was just everyone who messaged us, we were dropping it off. Friends, family, friends of friends, strangers, homeless people, whatever. Doesn't matter, We were just giving it out. And then we sort of went about the retail angle, going to sort of IGAs and, giving it to them for free, basically saying, I'll come back when it sells out. And then, I remember the first RJ I went to, my dad lived around the corner, and I said, just go in there and buy a couple of units day one. And then about like 7 o'clock at night, I get selfies of him with the the checkout chick and like being like, yeah, I'm like, mate, she's supposed to like not know that I know you and I've sent you there. You're supposed to be an average Joe just walking in there buying it. So that's how we sort of got off the ground in retail.
Amazing. And obviously you're co-founders, but we were just talking before about when and how you met. Let's give everyone an update on that little cute story.
Yeah. Xavier College, don't judge us for that, but only 2 kids from Moonee Ponds, sat next to each other, really.
Old schoolmates.
Yeah, the old finish at 3:30, but 3 o'clock, there would always be one of you go, hey, don't you boys have to leave your flight? I think your flight's delayed or something like that. So, yeah, we got sat next to it, and as they say in the classics, the rest is history.
I love we were also chatting before about, co-founders, significantly better idea than, being a sole founder because it's less lonely. You make half the amount of mistakes. You can bounce stuff off each other and potentially, reduce the risk and go twice as fast as well. Would you agree with that?
Oh, massively. I think just for time saving.
Yeah, of course.
Like even today we're sitting on Canva for a couple of hours putting together some content and going in circles for an hour and then we bounced off each other. Let's do this one, put that one here. I'll do this, you do that. And it was done. I was like, geez, like if you were by yourself, I would have sat there for another 2 hours dragging and dropping and changing the colors of font for another couple of hours. So from things as simple as that to just sharing the load. Like Liam's taken on a lot of the accounting stuff. I deal with, I work closely with Sumin with the manufacturer and organise the shipments.
Yeah, okay.
So just little role things like that. Like I couldn't imagine having to do it all myself.
No.
Yeah.
I would have burnt out a long time ago. We've already had our burnout moments together, let alone solo.
I would sit here 100% and say there's no way I get as far as we've got with Bay just by myself. Absolutely no way.
No, that's fantastic. And then tell us about the duration of time before you're kicking off, and obviously you kicked off with some Dans and some BWS, then it started to get a bit serious. How long did that take and how did that all come about?
It all happened in COVID.
Yeah.
It all happened during COVID. Like seriously.
Everyone was drinking their tits off. Huh?
100%. We used to beat our chest and say, no, COVID hasn't affected us. So obviously post-COVID with logistics rates definitely affected us. But we got quite lucky. We engaged a consultancy called Thrive Collective, George and Christian, two guys like us working other jobs in the similar industry, quit to start their own thing to help, small brands like us. We were client number one, still are their favourite client today, no doubt.
Of course.
But, and they had worked in that background. There's a fair process that goes into, dealing with these majors and something that we had tried and followed and fell at hurdles before doing so. So we knew there was an issue and we needed to sort of learn about the process or get someone there. I think that's one of our strengths. We've always sort of acknowledged that's above our head.
Definitely.
Let's go in and engage someone who can definitely help. And we'll just give it the founder passion and the classic oomph that each founder has for their respective brand.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Sure. And what are your thoughts on? There's definitely a piece around being first in the market with whatever it might be. Yeah. And I think you were pretty much in earnest. You're definitely one of the early adopters with a beverage that helps you not feel shit the next morning. So would you agree with that?
Yeah, massively. I think for us, looking back on it, and I've used the term before, sort of a bit of risk first reward. The risk was grabbing a whole new product in a category no one knew where it belonged or had even heard of Korean pear. People still think it's the Nashi pear. People still think it's green, the Korean pear. So for us, with no budget, no experience, to decide to educate an entire market on a new product from South Korea, going 5 years ago, there's only one bottle of soju and people was very selective with K-pop and all the sporting in South Korea. So it was a big call, but we decided to just go with it and just slowly build our community, educate people one by one. We've done fun different things through marketing, whether it's events or festivals, just about anything. And the rewards being that with that risk is we're still the only people to do it.
Totally, man.
We're the market leaders, and Bay Juice is just that Korean pear drink that helps you hangover. As simple as that
man.
Sometimes.
I was chatting with David Andrew from Naked Life, non-alcoholic spirit, so you guys wouldn't get on at all, I don't think. But anyway.
Actually, he introduced us to a distributor we're talking to in the States at the moment. So we caught up with him for a beer in Anaheim.
Yeah, nice.
He's a good man.
So he said to me, he got a great story where, he'd try one or two things first and it didn't quite work, and then finally kind of nailed it clearly. But he's very big on, if you're not first, you're last. If you're not first, you might as well be last. Pretty extreme comment, but not light years from the truth.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Yeah, cool, man. All right. So obviously, almost 5 years now. What are some of the lessons, or one or two of the key lessons learnt that we shouldn't have done that. We should have done that differently. Is there anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is, but it's also at the same time hard to regret them because
Of course.
you learn about it. But I think for me, and Tim, you can butt in as well here, obviously, and you will. But yeah, end-to-end agencies of any kind, I think somewhat we haven't had great success with. Let's say that, like, and not saying that they haven't been totally rubbish at certain things, but I think any end-to-end agency has their real strengths, and naturally you're going to move to your strengths anyway. And there's a few other pillars there that get left behind.
Yeah.
And it all needs to be balancing and working in tandem to really move the needle.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And I just to
Yeah.
layer on top of the marketing side of things, we got complacent after 12 months and we just thought the wheels were turning. It wasn't until a good friend of ours said that our brand we're just a commercial brand sold at Woolies now. So like, I remember at the start you were posting behind the scenes stuff, the pears in the farm. You guys were like swearing on some of your posts. You guys just didn't give a shit. Like, they were like, where's your personality in the brand again? And then so the last couple of months we're doing our ad content, our ad copy, our socials, and probably not doing it as well as strategic as we could, but we're still figuring it out. But already you can see the engagement from more authentic content, pumping out all of our LinkedIn stuff a bit more. We've fired that up again this year. And so I think that was a really good learning curve. We lost the personality of the brand. Now it's back. You feel it already.
Yeah, interesting. It's probably a little bit quiet for a while, but certainly in recent months it's all cranked back up again. I was joking earlier on about the Bay PR company. So obviously you're going.
A few people out there that are sick of us, no doubt.
Yeah, but you chase all that down yourself, right?
Yeah,
in recent times.
Yeah, we sure do. We just look for. Here's the trick. This is the. If you're listening, you get the trick. We look for articles that are similar to our article that we want to write, and we copy and paste that journalist's name into LinkedIn and send them a brief message on the brand and our favourite photo and say we'd love to work on a piece together.
Yeah, love it.
And as simple as that, they need the content. They want the content. It's handy. We think it's a good story. Our product stage is a good one to talk about.
Totally.
So it's made sense. I just feel like everyone's a winner, and we try to be as authentic as possible when we're talking or when we're doing our press releases. So hopefully the audience engage with us, and hopefully everyone's a winner.
I love that. We've done the same as well with a few of the brands we work with. So if it's an interesting story, then all we've got to do is get to the right editor, right?
100%.
PR company is going to love you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Awesome, mate. I love that. I love this story. And so let's talk about, you've got this opportunity in the US now. How did that come about, and what's the go there?
My cousin has been living over in the States for about 10 years. Andrew, his name, he's been working in finance, Macquarie, Australian Bank, and then over to Barclays, and sort of I think was kind of like, oh, it's cute. My little cousin has this nice little business going, and then started to look at the numbers and go, well, they're a mess, but there's a business here, because we were running all our accounting at that stage. So imagine two monkeys trying to fly an aeroplane. It's not really going to work. But so we sort of just started to develop conversations and a bit of back and forth, and he introduced us to another one of his friends over there, Kieran, another Aussie dude who's got had a cafe in Soho in New York, Charlie Street, and since COVID they've developed brands, FMCG, CPG as it's known in the States, brands out of the Charlie Street Cafe banner, and being introduced to 3 or 4 other different people, and just got the ball rolling really. And I don't think there's any. I wouldn't say there's a right time to go to the US. No. It's always going to be, it's expensive, but if you've got the money and you're getting enough momentum on the board and ticking enough boxes, then why not just throw the kitchen sink at it?
Totally, man. You got to be opportunistic in this game, haven't you?
So stock lands in the on the 31st of August, and we've got a 500 store deal with a distributor called Gold Coast Distributors, which is great as well. And one of their owners is dating an Aussie girl from South Australia, so they'd seen our product when coming over to visit the in-laws.
So my place sometimes.
Yeah, so it is kind of crazy how it works, but we're really excited to see what happens there. It could be anything.
Marriage made in heaven.
That's right, but I do think as well, just in terms of there's no right time to do it. We were at a mature time, so we had just crossed that barrier into a bit of maturity.
Definitely.
We have some advisors now that we speak to every day and annoy them, even though they get paid for a day. Yeah. So thanks, Trav. So we speak to him every day, and he just sort of channels our thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that going to bring a return? Is that on the message? You know, does that even explain the product properly? So he's just got us thinking every minute of every day.
That's good.
And that's made a huge difference.
Awesome.
And even some maturity of saying no to things
Yeah.
that are exciting, like some billboards or
Yeah.
doing an outdoor TV display and all this sort of stuff.
No.
But now we're the ones saying no.
Yeah, right.
Which is really cool. And we're putting money more into ad spend and getting more reach and doing this and more visual merchandising that people are engaging with. So it's been a really, really good year for us in terms of just growing as business people.
And 500 stores is almost like a seeding event, right? So, I mean, obviously there's a cost associated with getting that up and running, but it's a good place to start instead of going, all of California or whatever it might be. So
that's right. Yeah.
No, we just kill ourselves doing that. No, I think we're just going to sort of mirror what we did. We will be up on Amazon for nationwide, and we'll be doing D2C sales for our own website. But let's just go like we did in Melbourne, when after the first 100 stores, get that, and then maybe try and pitch a major. So I think we're going to sort of mirror that approach over in the US. And what a better place to start than New York City?
it's amazing, how exciting, and as you say, who knows what's going to happen?
Exactly right.
So, is there on the horizon in terms of, obviously, you've correct me if I'm wrong, you got one SKU which is I looked at the ingredient list. It says 100% nothing but 100% Korean pear juice. Is there anything on the horizon around new product development or new sort of spring offs for the? They're looking at each other.
We've been saying yes for 3 years. We got nothing.
No, I think I think there are some opportunities that have maybe presented themselves in the last couple of months to maybe expand away from. We're pretty keen to bring some other 100% juices from Korea. There's a couple other ones there that seem that might do well as well. But I think just the overall the eyes and I think the growth, especially in Asian products, but especially Korea, I think as well is an exciting opportunity. You only have to walk into a BWS or in a Dan Murphy's to see that they've got a whole fridge now of soju. Whereas when we started in Dan's, there was one SKU of it. There's a bigger Asian aisle in Woolworths now. So I think there's definitely some legs there. I constantly on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok are watching chefs, just people just cook at their homes or whatever, and a lot of them are using sort of these like a gochujang, which is a chili paste from Korea as well, and all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 in the shelf on the shelves at Woolies. So there's an opportunity there. I think that we're pretty keen to explore.
Yeah, nice one. That's excellent.
I hope I didn't indulge too much in that.
Tell us about
inside scoop.
You've been pretty public about obviously bootstrapping in the early days, and you've just done a little capital raise, maybe. I've got to say I've had quite a lot of experience with people talking to me about investment before they've even started. Also talking about an exit before they've even started. And I must say, when you look at all the key criteria for success, you pretty much ticked every single box on the planet. In terms of timing of trying to raise capital, so you've got some traction and it's all exciting. You got some rubber on the road and some credibility, which makes it significantly easier to talk to people about
definitely
getting you some dough. So tell us about how that story went.
We went through a big phase being on the pedestal, maybe in 2021 in the middle of the year, thinking like to scale we're going to need some cash. Woolies deals were coming along, needed more stock, but we needed to market it to get the sales to stay there. So that process came about, and we met VC after VC, had a bit of a mentor for a while there, sort of navigating it a little bit, and met some amazing people. But as all they were interested in was just tech and like the unicorn and it was just very critical. And we felt that there was so much potential that had just a little bit more value than whenever everyone else sat. And maybe it was just the timing of it all where there was justification that it wasn't. But come sort of the back end of last year, we had some pretty good sales. And off the back of spending no money on marketing. I think that was the key for us. So it was pretty black and white. Like, these guys are doing a high amount of sales with no marketing. If we give them some money to put into marketing, they might do some more sales. So we were pretty straightforward. We had a 10-page investment deck. It was our marketing. It was our deal with the manufacturer, which is just beyond incredible. From different agreements to consignment to GST, you name it. We've got a beautiful relationship there. And just about the US sort of explosion that we sort of anticipated. And there's a few other hangover drinks over there, but all sort of medicinal and pharmaceutical. Ours is natural. So we just spelt it all out, and we just met the right people. And it was like right timing, right place again. I remember the first call we had. I moved to Burleigh for 9 months just to get some sun. Obviously, it didn't work. And I moved there, and I remember being on the beach going, I swear we've got something at 11:30. I couldn't remember what it was, and I checked my phone. It was 11:35. I was with the dog, literally soaking wet. It's like, oh, it's the meeting with that family office. Shit. Whacked the t-shirt on, slicked the hair back, and joined the call. And luckily, we had heaps of mutual friends. We spoke about footy for the first 10 minutes. Told them what they want to do. They said, we don't want to step on your feet. We've watched you guys for a while. We do not want to be any form of roadblock. So it was just a really great chat. And then we sort of went to their office, had some beers a couple of times, watched the footy one night. And it was just like, this is how it should be done. Not the nerve-wracking big VCs,
Totally, man.
10 meetings in a row. Whack the mic. So it's it's amazing. We've got a great relationship with the guys now.
Did I hear one of your interviews recently that or one of you knew one of the brothers of the brother of the brother of one of the investors?
Yeah, so Damien, the head honcho there, he was just like, Timo Sullivan, he goes, I thought you were going to look different. I was like, why is that? And he goes, oh, I know your Uncle Toss, because we're all sort of our abbreviated surnames. And he goes, he's definitely a lot bigger than you. He's a big fella, Toss. And he goes, you're a bit more skinny than he is. Any relation? I was like, yeah, that's my uncle. Dad's Peter. And he goes, oh, I used to drink under the bridge at Byron Bay with your dad when I was about 16. So he knows the family very well. It did help, especially for being late, wet, and with the dog. So it did take the edge off awesome. It took the edge off for sure. So it was great.
We've chatted about this before, but I'd love to understand. I'm sure the audience would love to understand the sort of the primary consumer group for Bay Juice. So, I think last time we chatted about this was a few years ago. I sort of said, assuming it would be young. You said, yeah, it is, but it is broader than what you might think in terms of the primary consumer for Bay Juice.
It's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Might be a mystery. Might be one of the eighth wonder of the world. But I think any like person who sees our brand, it's big, it's loud, it's pink, will assume that, this might be a younger consumer. And I think there's a lot of younger people still drinking it, but I don't know. Well, my hangovers at 28 are certainly different than they were at 18. In fact, they actually exist. They never existed at 18.
Correct.
But, only till recently when we were at the Good Food and Wine Show expoing there, which is great.
Right.
That which is great fun.
Basketball ring.
Yeah, it was a ripper.
Basketball ring, except the people wine tasting behind us didn't find it too much fun. It was banging every 5 minutes at a couple of stray balls.
I think 9 times it went over. And
because
a couple of tasting.
You got the kids coming up, and you don't want to say you can't. Then they go whack over, and then you hear it. Shh. But anyway, we crossed that bridge and we got over it. But yeah, I think there was a lot of that place. Can I just say, is a zoo at 3 o'clock because everyone's drinking.
My God, no.
Tell
me about it.
Little gin, and you go, yeah, but if you have 30 of those, you're going to be an absolute mess. So, and it's a bit of an older demographic of a crowd anyway. But we got people coming up to us going, oh my God, I've got. I'm a grandma and I've got this stocked in my fridge, kind of. And so I think we got a good eye opening into there is and now it certainly helps that we're doing a lot of the messaging and branding for our marketing, where we can say, right, and just this morning I'm doing an ad and Tim goes, oh, we're doing a abandoned cart to retarget, and he goes, just remember this will be going to a lot of might be going to a lot of older people, and I've got a photo of 2 young people at a festival and a film camera one from a house party, and I'm going, shit, that's a good point. So even though I didn't
best
admit
one
it at
from
the time.
the wine show was someone walking and going, my mother-in-law loves this, and I was like, how old are you?
Yeah.
For that to be your
You're
mother-in-law.
40, so
And that's when she slapped you in the face. It didn't happen.
So it's good. A big audience is a good audience.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So back on the marketing then, which is, I guess, falls out of who the consumer is. I know you were talking about, obviously, you're getting red hot serious about that, but you've obviously done your own festivals and the digital marketing. Has it been like how have you gone about your marketing in the last 5 years?
We've trialed and errored everything.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to do it. And our advisors still to this day going, have you done this before? No. Or could work. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
From influencer agencies to doing it ourselves to having an intern do it. That's just the influencer marketing. So 3 different routes we took there.
Yeah.
The events was great. Did big festivals. We did goodie bags for yoga sessions and Pilates and beach meditation. Just product placement everywhere.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is we gave 700 units at the very start to a fashion show to put on every single seat. We're like, this will kill it. All these hot people will post photos. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Didn't see a single piece of content. And then 3-4 years later, we met 2 or 3 people in the same weekend at events going, oh, this was on the seat at a fashion show. And I've been buying it since. And I'm like, oh, so it did have a bit of cut through. So
True.
it goes down to the old, sometimes it's so unmeasurable marketing. But then hearing that 3 years later sort of helped us go, okay, we'll keep nipping away at doing sampling and collaborating and doing things. And we've got an amazing collab coming up with Bubba Pizza.
Yeah.
We're doing cold pizza drop-offs with some Bay Juice.
Grand final day.
So have a big
Cold pizza grand final day morning.
Done.
Put it in the fridge. Get on the sauce. Drink a Bay Juice. Wake up the next morning. Hopefully, he's feeling slightly better. Definitely feeling slightly better. Of course, this product works. It's cold. And then tucking in the cold pizza. So that's a great
It's
little
fun. It's awesome. We're getting a couple of good ambassadors to help us with it.
Yeah, with marketing, that's the best. We kind of don't have any rules.
That's good.
So yeah, it
Gloves
is good.
are off.
But then again, when you're a big retail business, even if you do something like Tim just said, and you look at the sales at Woolies and you go, geez, they were up, but you still can't exactly measure that is because we did this last week. You don't know.
Just got to do lots of stuff frequently.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
And sometimes you just get handed an amazing draw. Like for Woolies, our sales weren't at the average we were hoping they were or we promised. We did have good terms to turn it all around. And then all of a sudden everything started jumping. And then the girls, I've got a cafe, so I was making coffees and all the girls at the cafe were like, your TikTok's popping off at the moment. I'm like, I don't have TikTok. Like, no, Bay Juice. I'm like, all right. And there was a few different influencers like reviewing it. One had 250,000 views, but like 400 comments telling everyone.
Didn't even know about it.
No idea. Nothing. But his comments were telling everyone where to find it, how much it is, when to drink it, and he was telling everyone.
Amazing.
And then our sales spiked, and then we'd had 1 million views on our hashtag, and we had no idea. So we just amplified that, dumped heaps of money on different TikTok agencies and stuff.
Hilarious.
So you just got to be pretty agile with it as well sometimes and get a little bit lucky.
Yeah, totally, man. Luck is always good. You're talking earlier on about, and I heard you talk last week about the importance of what you do within the 4 walls of a retail store from a merchandising point of view. Give us an update on that.
On
the merch man, unbelievable. Because I'll give him a shout out. Tony from Retail Task, he's got a great team going across the country. Has really guided us, in terms of just from things like what the display should look like, how big the display should be. But in general, it's just a great order of, because you can go into, and we've been into Dan's and Woolies before, and it's through no fault of their own, but stock's pushed up the back, stock's not there at all, stock's tipped over. So, you've got a team going in sort of auditing all the stores and, I think it helps, sometimes the ticket may have fallen off at a Woolies, so it means the store manager can't actually scan it to order stock. So that store might be out of stock and your numbers might drop.
Little things.
It's just little things like this. And then you're in those huge brands like Woolies and Dan's who, I couldn't put a number on how many people go into these stores a week, but you imagine how many people walk into a Dan Murphy's during a week of December. If you've got a branded display up there with products there, it's better than any ad you can, any billboard, any social media ad you can do. So that's the other really value of it. And then once you these store managers, once you can say, well, let's put our product there, and you're obviously having a great interaction with them, and then the product does really well there, the manager goes,
Yeah, I love you now.
I love you. So
and that was my call. So he's telling head office that was my
idea.
That's Tim's idea every week.
No, we've had Dan Murphys that are doing 4 units a week and they whack it on the counter and we're doing 60 all of a sudden. So obviously it's the counter, but
yeah. And the thing I love about your brand is it is a fun. You've said this to me before, Tim. It's a fun brand, right?
Yeah.
It reeks of good fun times.
Definitely. And on that, our first packaging had science all over it.
Science,
it's all the enzymes and all this and that, let alone it not being compliant. But besides that, it was so sciencey. And no one read it. And we were struggling to get any cut through or sales, and everyone was asking us sciencey questions. And we had no idea about any of it really. And then we changed it to drink this before alcohol.
Exactly.
And every consumer just went, no worries.
Righty. That's funny.
No one has asked in 3 years since we changed that why or what's in it. Or what, should I drink it after? Everyone just reads those 4 letters and goes, sweet.
Everyone believes you.
Yeah.
It's funny, Steve from Shine Smart Drink, similar story.
Yeah, we love Steve.
It was very nootropic and brain function and green tea and then sort of morphed into, another fabulous energy, the yellow energy drink that is good for your brain. So it's a similar story in terms of sort of debunking the science and just talk about the great product.
Yeah, the majority of the market do not care.
No, it's great. Just drink it and feel better the next day.
Yeah,
it's not complicated, is it?
No.
And that's the important. I mean, it is a simple message, right?
Problem solution.
Drink this before alcohol.
Yeah, it's gold.
And after, if you feel like it.
Yeah.
I heard your argument about that the other day, actually. Before, during, or after? Definitely before.
Definitely before.
Definitely before, if you remember, when you get home before you go to bed. But
So why don't people have this in their pantry like they would Panadol? Or do they?
We think they're starting to.
Yeah.
Spoke to a few people recently. Someone that was actually asking if we're looking for any sort of angel investment. And I said, "Oh, do you drink alcohol?" And he goes, "No, but I drink Bay Juice with my partner." And they just have it in their pantry, buy a slab every now and then when it's on sale, and they just casually drink it throughout the week. So, again, learning more about it, constantly learning about our brand, our consumers. But we think it is definitely starting to get that way.
Yeah.
Panadol have a few more years on us, so
Yeah.
we've got a bit of catching up to do. But it's bloody tasty as well.
But even 2 for $6 is going to help, right?
Yeah,
One for now, one for
definitely.
later.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
no, definitely.
Well, I think people are going in and scanning and just they might be off to see some mates, so they're buying
That's good,
multiple
mate.
units.
Yeah, that's a great story. I love it. All right, let's do we'll do a quick fire Q&A, one word or short phrase answer. You can take it in turns, or you can kick each other under the table.
Yeah.
Here we
Should we start,
go.
or-
Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's go.
One lesson on what not to do at the very beginning.
Yeah, what not
We
to
did
do?
everything perfectly. Don't have an answer.
Spend.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't just spend money.
Yeah, right.
I'll say get your legalities in order.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a big one.
Two good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important. to
Contracts, everything.
It's hard to think about the future at the very beginning,
Oh,
isn't it?
definitely.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. One thing that's kept you awake at night.
Money.
Fair enough.
Stock.
Stock and money are
Stock and money.
two important elements.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 3, business thing that keeps you awake at night the most.
Most. Can I say money?
Money.
Yeah. No, seriously, money.
Money and stock.
Money in stock, yeah, I think so.
Money in stock.
Money in stock, really. But it's just like waiting when it's on the water and you're waiting for it to come, and you've got nothing left in the shed.
I know that
feeling.
Every day is a year.
Yeah.
We know that feeling with Karma Bites. Exactly.
Oh,
Comes
it's
from
brutal.
India.
Yeah, there you go.
This is yes or no answer. Marketing trumps anything else any day of the week.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go, everyone. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
It's true. I heard one of the US gurus say that a few years ago at a show here, and it's the only thing I could remember, and it is true.
Yeah, bingo.
If you had your time again, what would you do differently, if anything?
More things internally, for sure.
Yep.
What was that one?
Do things more internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think there's a stage where we started sort of having a bit of free time. I mean, this is pretty cruisy, but probably because we could have brought more in-house. So more in-house.
Yeah. Self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And
I want 4 or 5 people to look over our shareholders agreement from day one and make sure everything is in order, because it wasn't.
That's a good idea.
It's a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Fair
In
enough.
all
I know.
honesty.
I learned that with any shareholder agreement or any agreement, that it's got to be written by a lawyer to be understood by a lawyer.
Nice.
I've learned
That's
that
a good
one
sentence.
too. Guys, I have loved this chat. I really appreciate your time. And, as I said earlier on, it's just amazing that, when you look at all the key criteria, we work with a lot of people and we meet a lot of people in this industry, and it's very rare to meet a couple of guys who have, really not done a lot wrong, I must say. Great product, great brand, first to market, took your time, got the great listings, worked your asses off. I do think, well, I don't think this, I know this, that, the bulk of sort of food entrepreneurs do underestimate how freaking hard it is. It's hard yakka, it's relentless, and I know occasionally you go, fuck, what are we doing? This is just not working. And so, really brilliant job, and I love this story, and good luck with the US and everything else that you're up to, and it's been great to chat.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. It's been a crazy journey, but it's been amazing. So we're very lucky to be a part of it, for sure.
Awesome.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks, guys. Awesome.